Can you all hear me?
Hello, yes, we can.
I don't know why I don't have video. Sorry.
You just had it. It might come back.
Oh, okay. Now,
If I do that,
Audio check. Video.
hello.
Hello.
Hi, Brian.
Nice to see you.
Hello. Sorry, well, there's a lampshade in my way, the camera. I'm in this tiny little room in Flagstaff.
We're all pictured.
Okay, try it now.
Someone's
Okay,
doubling up.
Also muted.
This is I hit off.
Also muted.
So I just. Okay. Now I'm
Right.
muted. Did we do it?
Success.
Success.
Great
That
success.
button doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work.
No,
Yeah, your mute button that
you and
seems
I
on your laptop
pushed
doesn't
that
always
many
work.
times. Okay.
All right, looks like the gang's all here.
Hello.
And good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, July 16th. It is 6 o'clock. This is the Bluff Planning and Zoning Work Session. Start with the roll call. Malia Collins, Chair.
Marcia. Sorry. Wrong button.
Brian Whitney.
And it looks like you're muted.
Still muted. Nope, still muted.
And we have Ann Brown here. Her phone is muted. She's having some technical difficulties, but I know she'll have it worked out by the time we get a little further down the agenda. So Erin Nelson is out of town this week. Yay! So she is not here for us. But we'll move on to.
You didn't mean yay because she's gone, but yay, she gets to go.
Exactly, yes. Oh, for sure. When she listens, she will know why I yay.
Yay for taking a break.
Yes, exactly. So starting with number 1, update of next steps for the planning and zoning vacancy. I'm going to start with the statement and then an update, and then we'll go from there. In the time I have served on planning and zoning, we have never turned an applicant away unless we did not have enough seats for all applicants. I'm disappointed with the way that the last recommendation went, as it was not delivered with the thoughtfulness and professionalism that the individual in this role deserves. Some have served on this commission that may not have been well suited for the role, but were still given the opportunity to serve their community in a manner that they chose. Moving forward, I'd like to encourage all commissioners not to discourage our fellow community members as they pursue new opportunities to serve. So with that said, town council is going to appoint Tom Heiserot at their next meeting on Tuesday. Marcia.
Great.
I would like to say that I'm very, very sorry that you saw it that way, because I would not mean to offend anyone that I work with. But it is imperative, in my opinion, to not, there's two parts to this, and I'll get to the Tom part in a minute. So forgetting the actual person involved, the process, addressing the process, which is, I think, what you're doing, which is absolutely imperative that you do so. My answer to that process is, while I mean no offense to the people, I think the process allows for you to say, this person does not meet, if you will, the feeling or criteria that I had hoped. Okay. And yes, we have done it before. There was someone who was voted in not at, yeah, there was someone else who people voted no. Okay. Because if you don't have the right to say, I don't want the philosophy of this person, then I think that disturbs the process. Moving on to the second part of this is Tom himself, and I tried very hard to express this both at the meeting and when later I was asked by Josh. I really like Tom, and I'm looking forward to the idea that he stepped up and wants to work. Excellent. I want to work with him. And as I somewhat jokingly, but not, but with meaning, said even to you, Malia, I will convince Tom to see what we're doing. And having said that, he may well convince me to see what he's thinking. So I have no problem with working with Tom. I hope it'll be great to have him. We need a full contingent. Back to the process is, I have the right to think when I vote that someone doesn't represent my thoughts. And I don't think I expressed that as clearly as I might have at that last meeting. So it sounded like I just don't want Tom, which wasn't true. Just didn't appreciate the thought.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone have any thoughts, questions on number one? Alrighty. Number two, update and discussion amongst commissioners, zoning code revisions. Brian, we are so happy to have you back. We have some updates for you on what we've been working on. And so,
Excellent. Sorry that I've been so absent through all this.
all good. So I'm first going to start. We'll just do a quick update for you. So Marsha and I put this fabulous working outline together for our zoning code updates. And we actually put numbers next to them, and the numbers actually are the order that we think that we should go through this. So number one, working through zones, how many do we need? So this is what we worked on last week, was number one. And what we're doing today is basically coming back together and verifying that and discussing it a little more. I guess we did 1A. We're going to work on 1B a little bit more today. And then, as this is of course a working living document, so as we all see edits and things to insert, please do so. As you find errors and omissions and updates and things within our code as you're going through, please add. But changes, what do we need to address?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Can you just direct me to the right? What you're referencing, is there a file that I should be looking at? That I think I'm in the wrong file. I opened that red line set, but that's that original red line set, right?
That's the one we're using.
Oh,
That's
there we
the
go. Outline.
Yeah, that's the file that we're referencing. I'm just looking over, this is 626, the zoning
Yeah, okay.
outline.
Yeah, I
that
got
is
that
actually
now. Perfect.
As well.
Cool.
So this is,
Yeah, I think I see it now. I just wanted to see the outline and not just the perfect. Thank you.
yes, for sure. Am I showing? Yeah, I'm sharing my screen, and you see the outline, I believe. Number three, processes. So challenges to how we administer and enforce things such as application submittals, site plans. And I think that this will of course come just as we work through that red line set, but it's nice to write out the things we actually want to address, because it's easy to forget them as we work on a 40-something page document. And then something that Marcia said that I think was a fabulous statement is to go with number 4 as definitions. Don't start with definitions, don't work on definitions throughout, because we're gonna lose so much time adding and then deleting and then trying to rework our
Changing, yeah.
definitions over and over. So waiting until the very end of our revision and then just making sure that our definitions match. To, along with that, as we're going through, if there is a definition that we want to make sure we include, definitely starring that or highlighting it or something so that we know that that should be defined, but not necessarily trying to do it at that time.
Perfect.
So that's one of the things we've been up to since you've been soaking up the sun.
Oh yeah, since I've just been slacking off and been hot at least. That's awesome. I think that makes total sense. I definitely understand. I love the addition of putting the definitions at the end because I feel like it was such a sticking point to try and move forward. So that makes total sense to sort of use that as our like final act of cohesion. So that makes total sense.
Half the time we didn't even use some of the
I know, right?
definitions.
Right, exactly.
We didn't have them, so.
No, that makes total sense to me.
Yes. So with that being said, I now have our red line set up. At the end of the last meeting, I asked all commissioners to start working our way through this red line set with reading it, making edits on the side or statements or comments on the side if you have any, but really just working on getting through it so that we can ensure that we're not suggesting something in one section that's actually included somewhere else, just so that we really know our code.
Cool.
So we have
As
a lot
we're-
of definitions.
We have a lot of definitions. As you're reviewing also, I ask that you be in reviewing mode and not edit mode. We'll do edit mode together just because there is so much here that we don't want to accidentally delete something.
Okay, starting right
So,
there.
yes. So starting at 6.01.020, adoption of official zoning map, general provisions. So,
The town hereby adopts the official map. I just wrote, the official zoning map describes. Because we hereby have adopted it a long time ago.
yeah,
I'm just cleaning words.
right,
That's just whatever.
yeah.
Okay, but the question at the end is, what about this new interactive map that's so lovely?
Right, I think it should be referenced.
Because that one, we would say. In other words, if someone goes to the map and looks up their zone, great.
Mhm.
But if someone goes to the interactive map because they want to make sure which lot falls into where their lot falls in it, are they wrong to go to that map or is it accepted?
Oh, that's a good point.
Is it going to become an official? I mean, my
Yeah.
assumption is that it becomes an official map, right?
That's
Right,
my
I have to
question.
assume that it would be the same. Wouldn't it be the same? I mean, I would hope it has the same integrity as the other maps, so then wouldn't it? This seems
Right.
like it seems like a little bit like a lawyer-esque question of like,
yeah,
do you need to define it separately, or
yeah,
is it the same exact map?
Actually, the official zoning maps
Yeah. Oh,
describe,
perfect. Yeah, right.
you know,
Pluralize it.
yeah, maps describe, take the S off, the geographic extent of all zoning regulations
Yep.
enacted under this table. So there'd be 4. There'd be the main, the east, the west, and the
and
new
then
interactive. But I
Mhm.
hate using the number just in case we break one up or something.
right, I know,
Okay,
or in case we
you
get,
know, that may just be a town manager thing.
yeah,
If she puts them all under town maps, then it
Right.
isn't.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I would,
put it-
man, I would have to, I mean, I know it's stupid to assume, but boy, if it was under the official, if it was all put together, I feel like pluralizing it like that would cover.
Yeah.
Man, but you never know, assuming it's not a great idea.
Right. B, new development to
Sorry.
complete.
Are
Yeah,
we
Yep.
still talking about the 6/2/26 map?
the interactive map that we had gone over at a different meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not official yet.
Yeah, it's just, at this point, we're still under revisions and it's still with the main reviser.
Mhm.
Anna, if you're talking, you're cutting out, so,
No, I'm not. I just asked that one question.
Oh, okay.
great.
I'm staring at it on my computer, which I'm hoping won't die. Sorry, I'm talking on my phone. So I'm doing the best we can do here.
So much technology at work. All new developments shall conform to the requirements, procedures, and standards contained in or referenced in this title. Uses that are not permitted under this title are prohibited.
Makes sense.
And then we have a building statement. Effective 11/26 state code allows for unlisted business uses to be added upon request.
Huh.
Huh. Something to be
That's,
added in there.
yeah,
Building permit,
cleaning up the
yeah,
language.
cleaning up the language and just saying, yeah, you gotta go through the building department.
And and take out a bunch of it under there, just
Yeah.
go through and period, you go
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that recommendation kind of as a side tangent. Her recommendation of, are you building something? Just go to the building department and ask. Even if you don't think you need a permit, just ask because it might be that they suggest something or tell you something that you didn't think about with your build. Nothing changing under E or F. Fees, the town may establish reasonable filing fees and to cover costs associated with the review of applications under this title. Filing fees shall be set by resolution adopted by town council and found in the master fee schedule. I'm curious of your guys' thoughts. This isn't something we have to decide on today, but the word of a planning administrator instead of a zoning code official or planning and zoning chair or something. I'd be curious about your guys' thoughts on that title because we don't have a planning administrator.
What I think we're talking about here is in official towns, there's a planning department.
Right.
And under that planning department leader, the planning administrator, there's a building department official, there's planning and zoning meetings, we don't have that.
Right.
So I think this is correct in saying we're gonna do what we've been doing all along.
Yeah.
Which is approving things and looking at things and doing the building code part, we get to hand off because now we finally have a building code.
Yeah.
So I don't mind this.
Yeah.
Are you thinking there's a different title or because it's?
No, now that I read it, I think it's fine. Sorry.
No, I'm with you. Some of this language is like, huh?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think that's what they're talking
Yeah.
about. If we don't have a planning department,
Uh-huh.
then we're it.
Why
Yeah.
can't we just take this out?
The administration line.
Probably because it's important that we list my guess is it's just that like planning administrative duties are different than like building administrative duties, and there just has to be a reference in your planning code to who it is that has those. My guess is that that's why it has to be in there, right?
Yeah, I would assume, and it's like describing process.
Yeah. Just your classic bureaucratic sentence.
You know it. Number H. Archaeological resources. I feel like that's something we can talk about for ages. And maybe let's save that conversation. Or do we want to have it now?
Well, I can just reiterate what my sentence says. I have tried from the beginning of time in Bluff code to get rid of this.
Yeah.
We have no say, nor do we want to, nor should we, nor do I want to report as a neighbor that I found a chip on my, a potsherd when I dug my house. That's none of your business, my property. Find a bone, call the police, the sheriff in this case. That's it.
But
Is that-
yeah, that doesn't need to be in zoning code, right? I mean, that's just the law.
Correct.
Yeah, I totally agree. If it's not, yeah.
Cool. So even including the human remains portion, we don't need to have here.
You don't. Because people are supposed to know that, question mark.
Yeah,
But if you put things in, that's where the,
doesn't our cemetery code address that? I think our cemetery ordinance might address human remains. I mean, I know it addresses them up there, but it might say if found in town. It just like explaining that you must notify San Juan County Sheriff.
yeah, I don't know that, so, but I just know this is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now in the Utah State Code that finding human remains on your body means you have to stop doing everything you're doing. It's written into Utah's codes, so I don't necessarily think we need to include it in our planning and zoning.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's written into, and it's also a felony if you don't report it.
There you go.
The class B misdemeanor or the tampering with it or destroying it. Yeah, I mean, it's written into our legal code in the state of Utah, so I don't think it needs to be there.
Can I ask a procedural question for
Sure.
a minute, Malia?
Mhm.
If in fact we want to do this, can we do it today and get it out of here and get it, in other
Go
words,
ahead
what?
and remove it, start doing our editing.
Well, I'm wondering, what you wanna do, that's all
Yeah,
I'm
let's do
asking.
it.
Because a couple of lines already here, we've said, no, let's
Yeah.
move on. But only you, not us.
The danger.
Danger.
Boy, it's got a lot of lists of the there's many laws on the book about that, so. There's it lists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different laws in which you need to be contacting authorities, so.
For bones,
For
right?
it's about finding, yeah, because guys, my reading of this, I could be totally wrong, but my reading of this is basically that if you find remains on your body and you don't, or on your property and you don't report them, regardless of the level of stage of decomposition, including ancient human remains, it says
Yeah.
you are, if you're not reporting it, it's considered abuse or desecration of a dead human body.
There you go.
So I think there's plenty on the books.
Yeah, I mean, I had a whole meeting with the SHPO officer and all that stuff when this was going down.
Yeah.
And we just don't need it. And I'm not gonna repeat everything that was said. We just don't need it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And I think all the efforts we can take to simplify this document are good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. We will accept that. Oh, now it's in there.
Got
Okay, perfect. Look at us, we're already a page down.
Yeah.
And we haven't even got the definition.
Yeah. We got it.
All right, so non-conforming uses, this is a fun one because I noticed one of Kristen's statements is this is defined in 2 spots, choose one or the other. So I say we say what we want here and then we'll make our definition match.
Yes.
Well, a non-conforming use does not conform to current land use regulation and was legally implemented at the time of development. A non-conforming use may continue indefinitely so long as it is not abandoned for a period more than 1 year. By way of example, and not of limitation, a non-conforming use may be deemed abandoned if a building or structure is 1, voluntarily demolished by its owner, 2, allowed to deteriorate such that it is rendered uninhabitable, or 3, failure to conduct business for a period of more than 1 year.
Okay.
Any thoughts on that statement?
No, we've got to shorten this stuff.
Yeah.
and say-
Yeah, I like that edit.
Yeah, the cleanup of the language, yeah.
Yeah.
Seems practical to not have multiple definitions.
What?
I think anytime I hope she caught all of those and we can delete them all.
But see, it's going to be easier for us to catch them once we clean this once. In other words,
Absolutely.
if Malia does this tonight,
Yeah,
we can go back and start reading again and
Yep.
see more.
Right.
exactly.
Cool. Nice.
Okay, non-conforming use runs with the land and may be transferred between property owners as documented with the title deed.
Perfect. That's so much less convoluted than the second sentence. It's the same thing, but easier to read.
We like convoluted.
You know, it's.
I appreciate Kristen's statement on C, and I agree that we've deleted. She's saying that first sentence makes no sense, that it shall not be expanded, because that's basically saying it's a non-conforming use, you shouldn't be allowed to, what she says.
Yeah, to be, so if you had,
Non-conforming
yeah,
means you can't do anything.
if you had a business in this side of a residential space, that could be allowed to continue, but you can't just change it all into a business in a
Right.
residential zone. Okay, then, yeah. You can't, so why do we have to, yeah.
It's also, yeah, it just feels a little unnecessary too, because all that is. It has to be done anyway, right?
Say that again?
Oh, I'm just reading it and yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm just agreeing about striking it all
Okay,
because
so we
it
good to
seems,
strike C?
yeah.
Okay. Woohoo! If a non-conforming use is interrupted by fire, flood, or other calamity, it may be restored, provided that the restoration is completed no later than 1 year from the date of the calamity that caused the use to be discontinued. Any restoration of a non-conforming use shall comply with subsection D.
And Marcia wrote, what? This is, I'm confused.
Yeah,
So-
and so I think what we're trying to say is it's supposed to be section A, is that it.
It's not abandoned, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's done, that it's not just left to be derelict. Yeah,
Right.
that makes more sense to me than D.
Yeah. Good. It wasn't just me.
Right.
No, that
Okay.
makes sense to me.
Is that
Cool.
is that 1 year provision realistic when we consider where we live and nothing gets done in a year?
Well, I know a building permit is for 1 year, and so they can allow extensions, and so I would
Right.
say that we would probably be willing to stretch this, but you'd have to be started within a year or
That's
something.
what I would agree with that. I would assume that's what the assumption is. It's probably worth just checking with building department to ensure that, but I think that I would assume that maybe the word of restoration is completed, or maybe it's like restoration is begun. I don't know. I agree with Anne though that like a year for completed. Also, depending on what the thing is, like some of the non-conforming things could be like stone buildings that would require hiring someone who can cut beautiful square stones. So there is some, maybe it's that the restoration has begun no later than 1 year or something. I don't know. Maybe that's worth checking with the building department about. I imagine I'm thinking about like our place of business, and if like a flood wiped out that building and we were trying to restore it, it would be like, who do I even talk to who can cut big, beautiful sandstone squares?
Yeah.
Right.
Vance C.
Yeah, right. Okay, I knew you would know the right person. Perfect. Now I'm going to write that name down.
Oh, shoot. Come here. Come here.
Alrighty, and then moving on to D, if a non-conforming lot of record is proposed for development, it may be developed, provided that the owner can. I agree with Kristen's statement on this. non-conforming means it can't be developed, so then you turn around and say it can. All new development must comply with current ordinances and regulations.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Non-conforming lot can't be developed? Yes, it can.
Okay. So,
I'm,
sure,
okay, but now we haven't, all we've talked about here is non-conforming use.
right.
All of a sudden, D is a non-conforming lot.
Yeah.
So,
So does this belong elsewhere? Because,
well, go to the top, and is this called see, this is called non-conforming uses. Okay, so that's A, B, and C. And D, all of a sudden says non-conforming lot. Where is that? So just
Yeah,
put
that's a
the,
good point.
yeah,
just put the word lots up at the top and say non-conforming uses and not, and lots. There. Okay, now what you need to do is make one uses ABC, two lot ABC or whatever, right?
Right.
Because two things under that heading of non-conforming. Huh. There we go. I like that, don't you?
yeah,
So now we have to talk about lots,
yeah.
but we need a definition first, which is, wasn't A up there, what, one, there you go. Use. Now go to lots and say something about what it is. A non-conforming lot is one that doesn't meet the specs upon adoption of the code.
You're saying in definitions, so we want to make sure that this
No,
is
I'm saying right here,
but that's defining something here. Shouldn't we put that in?
but you just defined it a non-conforming use. Does not conform to current land use regulations. So non-conforming lot does not conform to current zoning regulations.
He's pretty good.
Is
We
that,
include and was legally implemented. was
right,
legally
it was,
formed.
but was legally formed under its time frame. Yeah, under existing, that's the word, existing codes. So see, now it matches. You've said what uses are, and now we're gonna say what lots are and what we can do about it.
Conforming lot did not conform. It was formed at the.
To meet existing codes. Was formed to meet existing codes. We can fix the wording in a minute.
So then in that case.
Now, was it, can you develop it, can't you develop, et cetera? There you go. Now it makes sense. Because now you say, if a non-conforming lot of record is proposed for development, you can do it. If you have on-site wastewater and comply with other applicable code. And that's what we've told people. You know, people who've come to us with funny little lots, we've said, yeah, just meet your setbacks and.
Yeah.
Okay, does that make sense?
Catch 22, just reading this comment, if it's
Sure.
complying with other applicable ordinances, then it's not a non-conforming lot because it meets those requirements. But that's not true, because other applicable ordinances is signs, exterior lighting, you know, all of those others. This non-conforming lot just doesn't meet the
The
zone.
size. So,
yeah.
so, oh, maybe that's the word we need.
Yes.
So, okay, go back. A non-conforming lot does not conform to size requirements of current zoning codes. There we go.
Is there anything else that it could be that would create it as a
No,
non-conforming lot?
because
Or
we're talking lot line.
yeah, 'cause
So we're
it's
talking
only-
size of lot.
yeah, and that's how we want to define it, because we want it to just be the size. We don't want the non-conforming lots to be accepted as anything other than it's just too small.
Exactly. And some of them are going to could become conforming if we change some requirements for lot
Right.
size.
It's true.
Yep, that's non-conforming lot does not conform to size requirements of current zoning regulations and was formed to meet, just put the word of in here, good. Requirements of current zoning regulations.
Requirements of.
Yeah,
Well,
cool. Like we said, we can always
yeah,
fix a
I
word.
think that needs a little more
Yeah,
love, but
okay.
to move on.
Yep, cool.
Wow, good work. Text amendments and map amendments as used in this title. A text amendment means a legislative change to the requirements or procedures applicable to any particular zoning district. Looks like we have this doubled up in definitions, so maybe keep that comment there so we can decide which one we want
In
later.
definitions, perfect.
As used in this title, a map amendment, looks like she's saying the same thing. So just another definition statement, something to address when we're playing with definitions.
And I like she took out an including official or employee of the town, meaning that they weren't really a
Meaning that they
person.
weren't people. I appreciate that. They request a text amendment or map amendment.
Mhm.
I'm
Okay,
curious
so
about your guys' thoughts on B4. In the case of a map amendment, a plat or map prepared by a surveyor showing the geographic boundaries, parcel lines, and major features of the area to be altered. The comment is, I don't think this needs to be under a surveyor. Anyone can show they would like a few parcels zoned differently, clearly in an image. My comment would like to think about this further. Based on the above definition, a survey would be helpful if they were enlarging or reducing the geographic extent.
I think I'm kind of with Kristen's definition, meaning, to me, I think it means, so you have commercial and yours is residential abutting it, you go, I'm trying to sell mine, so I'd like it to be commercial because it's next to commercial. I don't think I need it to be surveyed
Mhm.
until sale or change of ownership or anything that they would have to do any. I think I don't need it, but
Yeah,
the minute I say that.
I think I agree with Marcia. I think that in this moment, I think I agree that like in the moment of the application, and then it goes on to say that there's other additional submittals and things that might be required, so that might also just fall into that next category, right? Because I think for the application, I agree with her that it's also prohibitive, like cost prohibitive for someone to apply, right? So like, I kind of also agree with lowering that threshold at first, and then like Marcia was saying, as it proceeds, then you can be like, hey, that's now needs to be surveyed as part of the next part.
The town might eventually even want to do it. In other words,
Right.
if this became a big change, we might have to say, hey, the town's willing to pay for the surveyor because it will change
Yeah.
our whole balance or something.
yeah.
But typically a survey is just to get the lot pins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So someone knows the lot. But
And those things are often like, I think it's also just about taking out redundancies too, where it's like these things are required, later on in certain circumstances. So we don't have to have
Yeah.
it right at the initial phase.
But it could be helpful, okay, if we're requiring them to get a survey and they're changing from, for example, residential to commercial, their setbacks are changing. And so a survey would be important if you are wanting to build something. But I guess if you're building something, then you
Then
need
you
a survey
need
anyway.
the
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. It's going to get caught at that point. And that's the nice thing about having a building department is that we can reduce the amount of we can reduce the threshold on our end. So, because it all just kind of gets caught with them.
Perfect. Yep. Thanks for thinking that through with me. And then we have the next statement, the town may require other or additional submittals and as may be deemed necessary to review any particular application. Isn't this just what a conditional use is or not?
no.
Yeah, now that
because-
we've talked further.
Yep. Conditional use is telling them only the conditions on which you may build this
Right.
building here, but the condition is it's too big, so we're gonna make you dig a moat around it.
Yeah.
You know, we're this.
You have to
yeah.
build a moat. I like that
Yeah.
example.
Conditional use, you tell them what the conditions are.
I think we could take out the word particular. I agree with Word on this one.
Yeah, it does. It says conciseness, right?
Yeah,
It's saying, excuse me, your zoning code's too redundant. Make it more concise.
Well, particular is a nice word. You don't need it here.
we're
Okay.
very particular.
We are
about our
very
words.
particular about our zoning code. Map amendment or text amendment shall first be reviewed by Planning and Zoning Commission at a public hearing. It shall be preceded by a public notice as required. In case of a map amendment, the applicant shall cause the subject planned parcels to be posted with one or more signs in a form specified by the town. I just have a quick comment, maybe throw that in with the sign ordinance as we're doing that revision at some point too, saying these signs are needed.
Um, I think. Um. We might have to look because I think I remember, like when you do, this lot is up for a zone proposal.
Uh-huh.
I think there are specs and those specs might be listed in like state or other requirements because you're supposed to be able to see it.
Yeah,
This lot is up for a zone because the neighbors have to drive by going, whoa, I don't want it to be a commercial lot. I better go, to the meeting.
yeah. And I feel like in our sign ordinance, we actually say signs that are required by government something, or
Government code or.
are not or do not require a permit or something.
Right. So if this sign, for example, is supposed to be 3x5 and we only allowed 2x4, this sign would be able to go up at 3x5. So what we need to do is just find out if there's a listing size for public hearing signs.
Yeah, I think we might need to add something to our zoning code or to our sign code, but I don't think we need to talk about it now.
Okay.
But something to follow up with, because I just
Okay.
found the definition in our sign ordinance. Governmental sign is probably where that would fall in.
Okay.
And this just says it's a sign erected or placed by a governmental agency to demarcate government facilities, boundaries, traffic control, or public functions. And it should probably also just include or required by law or public hearings or something.
Yeah,
Or
public
zoning.
process.
Yeah, public process, yeah, so.
Ooh, nice.
And then I just wrote this little thing about
Mhm.
if the town, we discussed amongst ourselves the idea that there could be a few zones we want to change now that we've been in business for 8 years and we go, oh, commercial 1, commercial 2.
Mhm.
So if we're doing that, do we need to post a sign on the individual lots involved? And that's procedural, and maybe, for example, Erin can tell us if we have to do that. I'm thinking not, but we might if it's confusing to people.
Yeah, I would say we probably need to look at the code 10-9A-205 that's referenced in this.
Right,
That's gonna tell
signs
us
required, yep,
who has to do that.
okay. Tell you what, I'll take that one on.
Okay.
So this is, what am I in, 6.01? Tell me where I am so I can come back to it.
6.01.040 text
And I'm
amendments
in number C,
C.
and I'm number, yeah, okay, very good. 10-9A-205, 10-9A-205, okay, I will take that on.
Perfect, great question.
Cause I asked the question, I've got to
Yeah,
answer it.
exactly,
Hey.
maybe.
Well, then I'm never asking a question again.
Right.
Just kidding, just kidding,
That's
just
not-
kidding.
That's not the way it has to go, we can always
Just
share
kidding.
the load.
Okay, got
Moving to F, the town declares the stable zoning classifications promote consistency of investment and respect for individual property rights. And was determined with public input at the required public hearings. Town acknowledges that maps are living documents and need updates to address the ever-changing needs of our community.
And what does she say? Discourages reevaluating what we're doing. I see, she put in she took out, accordingly, map amendments are to be discouraged.
Yeah.
Which you should never say.
Yeah,
Yuck. The town declared, I like her substitute sentence well enough for
Yeah.
now. We can always fix the wording, but.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't discourage people from asking if they
Right.
can get something.
We don't want to discourage anything, in fact.
No,
It's not the point.
People coming forward with ideas, make those ideas work.
okay, well, we'll go ahead and approve all of this and we'll keep on working through it and look at it 15 more times.
Yeah,
before
we
we're
will.
done. Right.
Alright.
Still exist. Don't be struck through. Okay. Resolve this thread. Home-based businesses instead of home occupation, so just changing the verbiage there.
Yep, go for it.
And then it looks like here she's allowing us to
Oh.
match state code.
Oh, now that's interesting that the state code doesn't require you to have a license, so we can't either. Interesting.
Huh,
Home-based businesses are exempt from a business license per state code. End of sentence.
interesting.
Okay.
Do we probably still,
No, just if
and
your
then it's a
home-based business, if your
occupation.
home-based business, your home is already legally
Right.
what it's supposed to do.
Right. Is there any reason we'd wanna keep anything with exterior storage?
Nope. Because if you can fit a shed on your land, you can fit a shed on your land.
Yeah. Cause that's just talking about buffers, and there's definitely some statements about buffers. Should we have a statement saying you do not, like referencing business code, that you don't need a license?
Oh, well, it does say in her comment that if, okay, this could work. She says that the business license is not required, but it's as long as you don't create off-site impact. So
Right.
here you go. How about home-based businesses do not require a separate business license unless, just change, and they generate excessive, there you go. Use the rest of that sentence. So,
Sorry, I was.
okay, take out the one
Okay.
about comply with town business license. That sentence can go, because we can't do that. But using the sentence right now, where you're about to start, home-based businesses, right there, put, do not require a license unless, and change that to they. Got that. There you go. They produce, generate, yep. Because that's what her little note says.
It's gone.
There you go. There you go.
Perfect.
I like that, because you've said what you said, which is you don't have to come get a license. But we've said what she said, which is
Yeah,
don't, we're gonna get you if you start a problem.
right. Hey, perfect. All right, building height. This gets confusing when
Mhm.
comparing side by side with our
Yeah.
matrix. Simplify and reference
Yeah,
the matrix instead of listing specifics here.
I had it
Yeah.
on my notes over here that said, what the heck?
Yeah,
We've got 26, we got 35, we got 18, we got all in different places, so.
yeah. So leave that comment there and then reference back to this when we get there.
To the charts and
To the
stuff, so
charts,
we
yeah.
know, I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea, cause it, especially if we begin to combine some of these zones and clean up. All agriculture should be one height,
Right.
or all, you know,
Right.
so that'll help us a lot.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, on-site wastewater system requirements, all development not connected to a lawful public or private sewage treatment must include on-site wastewater system installed and maintained. We'll need to change any wording here if we decide to change lot size
Yeah.
requirements. Agreed, we'll keep that statement there. Buffers,
Pardon.
we have a statement, we don't have a lot of space to work with in town to require buffers between zones if this is what we need to if we want this, we need to define exactly what that looks like.
Then I put a question, but I know the answer to that question. Who has to pay for the buffer, commercial or resident? What is the
Yeah.
buffer? So my answer is whoever is developing would be
Right.
paying for the buffer, so you
Right.
can take that part away. But the what is the buffer comment is a good question.
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems to
agree
be
that-
very nebulous.
Uh-huh. My buffer is that I stand there for a while and.
Right, right.
well, and I know that we had talked about buffers for RV parks as
Mhm.
well, so this might be
Yeah.
something valuable as we go through.
Okay, so maybe that's one to leave for
Yeah.
discussion, because we're rolling, man. This is good.
True.
There you go.
Setbacks. Awesome, I think did I add this? Structures including recreational vehicles and accessory buildings on a property must meet setback requirements. I noticed as I was going through code that we didn't have setbacks addressed in every zone, like our setback definition needed a little bit more love, saying accessory buildings have to follow, everything you're building needs to follow the setback.
All development within a
All
lot.
development, yeah. Yeah,
And once again, cleaning them up, because sure enough, C1, C2, as we combine, if we combine, but as we do this, this is where to clean up those
Yeah.
differences. I think the commercial 50-foot front setback is just outrageous,
That's
so.
pretty bonkers. That's a pretty bonkers number.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so continue to think if there's any other specifics, because I know that we've had some discussions about accessory buildings and recreation vehicles meeting setbacks, so I specifically called them out, so as
okay.
we're going through, if there's any specific things that you want to call out in this setback statement, feel free to add.
Okay.
Time is flying, we are already at 6:51, let's talk real quick about our zones, because that's kind of where we're at, and then start working on a little bit of homework discussion.
Okay.
And then move along, because our next stuff is all really quick.
So if you want me to, let me just say that based on the little bit of chatting we've done,
Mhm.
it appears that we would like to have agricultural 3 zones developed into 1 or 2, and the 2 would be developable agricultural and non-developable.
Mhm.
So I did that a little bit
Yeah, I
in
like
here
it.
with a bunch of questions,
Mhm.
and then you did, so I think that's a great way to look at this is, what can you develop in agricultural and what can you not?
Mhm.
Keep 2 districts, that's
Yeah.
all.
It makes a lot of sense to me. I'll read through it more between our next meetings, but that right off the cuff, that sounds to make a lot more sense.
Yeah,
Because
that
that's
was
really
part
the
of our-
primary function, right?
Right, we want greens, we want big open green space where we want it. And then in some of those big open green spaces, they call out
Yep.
for, this could be developed and not
Mhm.
hurt any, view shed or anything else, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if it's non-developable, sorry if that's the word, why
It's
do we
not.
have to have building, why do we have to have all these building, designations, building heights, et cetera? If you can't,
Because you can still put a personal building on an agricultural lot, right? So like a primary, aren't you allowed to still put, am I totally off on that?
So it's
Can't you,
most of
you could
what we
put a
have
primary
zoned.
residence?
So most of what we have zoned for non-developable is, at least that's within. Like, well, okay, most of
No,
it
it's
is like
like BLM.
Cherry Hill, the gravel pit,
Right.
BLM land.
BLM land, right?
We can't tell them what they can or cannot put on their land. Our code is a mere suggestion. But what they could include is a kiosk and that, or restrooms, or, things
Right.
like that could go in public parks or in that open or green space, is the way that I interpret it.
Right.
If that's incorrect, please
Right,
tell
right.
me.
No,
No,
that's
I
what I
think-
would assume.
And I think you've got a very good point about how much we put in that's allowed, but once you put anything that's allowed, you gotta say what it can be.
Yeah.
It can just be a small bathroom, it can't be, or, low one-story bathroom, it can't be in excess. So,
Yeah.
but if you see something, write it in there, if you have
Yeah.
a good idea about what you do or do not wanna allow.
Yeah.
Because then, when you get to developable, that's what you're talking about, Brian, is if you're on A2, you can have your house there because you live,
Right.
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 So
You
So
can
we
do a
need to
lot with
watch
it.
you need to watch out for that. So
Yeah.
everyone go through that one again then, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I just put suggestions of what I saw,
Yeah.
or ideas or not.
Mhm. Yeah, and then agricultural A2 is the developable, and we have all of the uses written there.
Right. And this is where we can be careful about some density and heights and
Yeah.
setbacks, because you do want to develop, so, yeah. Once again, I just wrote in purple, whatever.
Gosh, time flies so
I
fast.
know.
So I know that we just got here, but let's all look through this, make some more comments on it, and reference our maps. Because what we have done is combined A2 and A3.
Pretty
Is
much.
that right?
Right, because 2 and 3 both had development. on them.
Yeah, and so we
Okay.
combined those to just A2. So look at a map at the same time that you're looking at this and kind of think through
Great.
building heights and setbacks and lot sizes and things, because lot sizes, I am kind of perplexed that A2 developable has a minimum lot size of 3 acres, but maybe that's actually a
A good thing.
really nice one, because A3 was a half acre, whereas A2 was 3 acres. So where do we want
And
to
I
sit?
think I wrote it.
Yeah.
It's certainly a mechanism that's used in a lot of places to keep those types of parcels from being overdeveloped.
Right.
Is those
right.
sorts of things. So I mean, it'll be a good thing to look at and think about.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. And maybe it's a good compromise, say all ag2,
Yeah.
now that we're naming it, called or developable, we gotta come up with a word for this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a tough
Developable
one.
ag2 is 2 acres each, or
Yeah.
whatever,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so same thing with commercial, we've combined C2 and C3, so also just a recommendation to look through those. We were wondering if maybe we should identify any factory industrial, so also looking at your map, seeing if there's any spots you see that. And then residential, we only have one, so thinking keep it at 1, but then of course, looking at that point at our building heights, densities, setbacks and things.
Okay.
Perfect.
And we'll pick up there next time.
And
Nice.
are we gonna do this at the next meeting? It would be the next time we talk about it,
Yes.
which would be the 6th on my, and for just
That's
for my
correct.
brain.
Yeah,
Okay, great, because I'll be off the river on the 30th, so that gives me a good 4 or 5 days to.
plenty
check
of time
things
to do
out.
nothing but planning and zoning.
I mean,
I thought you were gonna
honestly, an hour of planning zoning a day and doing nothing else sounds pretty nice after 3 back-to-back Grand Canyon trips.
I thought you were gonna say it gives you 5 or 6 days to do laundry, but
Oh no, that is long. I'm gonna burn it all after. Oh,
Burn
it's also stanky. Okay, cool. That's
I
amazing.
love it.
Thank
Okay,
you guys for
Great.
keeping
good work
energy
Good
going.
today.
job.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and we'll just keep on working our way through it as,
I love taking away the red
oh,
so we can.
it's so
read
nice. Well, I want you guys to know, we lost 2 pages on this
it.
today.
Cool.
We're doing
That
great.
sounds excellent.
It
Yeah.
does, doesn't it?
Okay,
So 3, discussion of the public input session for zoning code revisions. We tentatively scheduled that for September 17th at 5 o'clock, just before our planning and zoning work session in September. So that'll give us quite a bit of time with how much we worked through today. That'll give us quite a bit of time to continue working through this zoning code. And this isn't a public hearing. This isn't anything that is required. This is just us saying, hey, public, we're working on this. Please tell us your thoughts now while we're working on it, and not at the end when we're in the public hearing zone.
this is not a public hearing. Are we gonna have like the open house thing that?
It's gonna be like an open house.
Put some
Yeah,
maps out.
it's gonna be an unofficial, I mean, it'll still be planning and zoning hosting, but it's not that we're like, I don't think it's one of the required public hearings.
Okay, good.
I'll double check
That's
on that.
perfect.
I was gonna say, check
Yeah.
the lineup, because
Yeah.
when we go to change the codes,
Yeah.
we will need a public hearing.
Right,
But you're right, I think we talked about, it's
Yeah.
almost a work session for the public.
right, exactly, because they've been living with this document just as we have,
Yeah.
and they've probably got comments, and let's try to hear them earlier in our process than once we've already X'd something, and they're like, wait, I love that, which probably
Mhm.
isn't gonna be the case.
Yeah.
So what I'm
Sounds great.
thinking is I'd like to get a couple of large copies that are laminated of our current zoning map. Thoughts from you guys, how many copies of those should I get? So we have the overall town, east side, west side, 2 copies of each, so 6 total?
2 copies of each, blown up as best you can.
Yeah.
Laminated and stuck on the easels or whatever.
Mhm.
So when we're talking to people, we can be pointing at
Mhm.
things and they can be pointing back.
Yeah, okay.
And then the working document, don't we want a copy of that?
Yes.
Existing,
Mm-hmm,
redlined,
mm-hmm.
or existing and.
Won't we be
not-
done with that by then? Isn't that our
I'm not
goal?
anticipating that we'll be done, even just if we've worked through some of it.
Yeah, I think we could easily print out copies of the working document and just say,
Yeah.
this is where it's at. Here's a copy for you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all, anybody can access it, right? If they wanted to anyway. So I think if we just have that as,
No,
Not at this point, but we
Not
can
at this
post
point.
it ahead of time so that they can look at it.
no, I mean, but like if someone asked to know where we were at, right? I just mean like it's not private information. So I
No.
feel like if we had copies of, yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to agree with you. I'm just trying to agree with you. My brain is still 120 degrees.
Okay, perfect. Any other thoughts on that public input session? Do you guys think an hour is enough? 5 to 6, and then we'll get started with our meeting right after that, and then we can discuss
Yes.
things spoken that we've heard while it's still fresh, because I would hate to go another couple of weeks and be like, I spoke to somebody and they said something, like, let's go ahead and get it all, or get some
No,
of the
that
things.
sounds, an hour seems like a great amount, and I don't think, yeah, it could be any bit longer would seem like it might drag on and it might not be efficient, so.
And people can stay and listen to our meeting, because it'll be riveting. Okay.
And I think if
items for
we-
next- Go ahead.
Well, the only last thing I was gonna say is that I think also if we just use the work session in August to just hone together a game plan, it will be very easy to accomplish in an hour.
Yeah,
agreed.
I like it.
Cool.
Items for next agenda, definitely continue our zoning code revision. I haven't received anything. Do you guys have any other ideas?
No, but we got a little
No.
time.
Okay.
Sounds great.
I'll let you know if we come up with anything else, if I receive any applications or anything, but it might be that we get to spend another hour just cruising through this zoning code.
Great. If I come up with anything
other-
on the river, I'll add it.
What was that?
Nothing. Sorry, I'll shut up. It's hard to make banter well over the internet, so I'll just
It
stop trying.
Sorry, we don't hear your banter.
I know, and anyway. Love you all.
Okay, I have one under other.
Yes.
can you clarify, as I'll just use myself as the example, because that's why I'm asking. I have two houses on my lot, pre-existing to when God said there would be land. So I have a house that I live in, totally one house. I have a, we call it the bunkhouse, you all know that, that is a rental home that has a lovely garage. And Dessa and Vaughn have gotten it in their heads to build it into a cute little apartment, efficiency apartment. Is that an ADU? Is there a problem? Is there anything I need to know? I read and I read and I read and I read, and it seemed perfectly fine to me. In the meantime, Vaughn is talking to Kristen, building stuff.
Yeah,
That's them.
yeah,
I just went, ooh, zoning. In my opinion, that's just an apartment in a house, you know, but does that mean that I got, and it's going to be less than 800 square feet, I think he said. Yeah, I just want to make sure that nobody comes up and says, you can't have more. There's one next door to me, or two doors down, that's 3 apartments in one building. There's zoned residential.
yeah,
I am not structurally changing anything except the, there'll be a fence, a little fence gate of entering the, I
yeah.
don't even know if there will be, but
Let's add this to next week's agenda if you don't mind, or next time's agenda, because this can be a good exercise, just looking through our zoning code and maybe finding some more pieces that we want to edit, because these real life examples seem to be really what help us find these holes.
you're right, real life.
So if it's,
definitely.
and not, and me, I mean, I appreciate that. I think the building department is exactly who you guys should go to, and they're gonna help you guys figure it out. And we can make it a zoning.
So
zoning
let's do,
discussion.
on the agenda would be ADU definitions and, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, allowable ADU stuff.
yeah,
I
I don't
'cause,
see
yeah,
why that would be.
Vaughn's like ready to rip the wall and put the thing on, and I'm like, just give me a minute here.
Yeah. well, I know that like, to speak building real quick,
Yeah.
if there's electrical happening,
Yeah,
you know, all
and
of
that-
those things, that's all the.
And that's what caught us, a few of us off guard the last time we were doing stuff.
Yeah.
This time I said Vaughn,
Yeah.
and so
Oh,
Kristen's already on it.
Yep.
She, you know, Vaughn,
Yeah.
you can do this, but you can't do this.
Yeah.
And it was like, perfect, they have a plan,
Perfect.
so.
And she
I
knows zoning,
appreciate,
that she would also flag it for us.
Well, she might,
Yeah.
but I brought it up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, you know, we've been talking about an extra apartment here, let me make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Brian, what?
no, I just was gonna say that I appreciate that conversation because I think it's also timely with some of the conversations about trying to increase housing availability in Bluff, and I think it's a really important conversation. So I'll do some reading and I'll also scrub the zoning and look at it too, because I think that's a really good question, because I don't personally, I don't see how that's an ADU, but I would hate to be prohibitive. And you already have an ADU. I mean, the building is itself is
Well,
already an ADU,
It's an
right?
ADU
No,
within
it's
an
not,
ADU.
no, it's not an ADU.
Oh, yeah, yours is
It's a
another
house. We have
residential.
It's a
two-
separate house.
we
Yeah,
have two-
so I mean, no, I just, a lot of questions, but it's a cool, timely thing, and I love that you brought that up.
Absolutely,
So I
absolutely.
would love to encourage others to do the same,
Yep.
and this is us kind of getting
Right,
a good answer
obviously
for
it'd
you.
be rental, Dessa thinks it's her rental, but you know.
That's okay. She's a member of the community. That's up to you. That's up to you and Vaughn.
So, anyway, thank
Perfect.
you for listening. I just
Yeah.
would like us to address it and know the answer. And oh, by the way, the state has stuff called ADU and interior ADU. And maybe,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Oh,
thank you.
Utah.
We can
Yeah.
Go on.
you know, this might be a fun way, air quotes around fun, a fun way for us to work through our zoning code. Like, once we feel like we're getting close to being complete, is coming up with scenarios and working through the zoning code ourselves and saying,
Totally.
if someone were to ask this, what would we say?
Yep,
Because that's gonna help us find holes.
that's how we found most of
And that's
it.
how we found them, yeah,
This sign,
Yeah.
that's, you know.
yeah.
It's
What time
That's
are you
awesome.
home? Got
Doesn't that
time?
sound so fun, guys?
I love that idea, man. Scenarios are how you work everything out, you know? You only get
Right.
so much life experience in reality, so I think that's a great idea.
Let's pretend.
Okay,
mean,
I have
it's-
3 others.
Okay,
September 9th, the CERTA Regional Summit. It's on a Wednesday. It's some training from 5 to 7:45. It's in Price. I sent an email with the information about that. That's the one that we've been discussing. So just putting it back or keeping it on your radar. If people are interested in attending, we have a little bit of time to keep talking about it. August 20th at 7 p.m. Blanding, they have a planning training that is virtual. It's after our planning and zoning meeting, which will end promptly at 7. And people could actually join that link and join Blanding's planning team. I believe I will be out of town, so I will not be attending that training, but
do we know what training it is?
I can get more specifics.
Because some of it we've taken, some of it I don't even know.
Yeah. I'll ask for an agenda as it gets closer.
Thank you.
Mhm. And then, this is something that Josh discussed at the meeting on Tuesday. They want to put together a housing working group. And they said a planning and zoning commissioner would be valuable on that. So if anyone is interested in doing that, they said that people with other experience with building and, or water, or, you know, if there's people that have multifaceted experience, they could be really valuable. I personally thought Brian would be a great person, to.
I'd be happy to join that council if that is something that comes. I would be happy to do that. Yeah.
Awesome. I will let the council know.
Volunteer myself as tribute.
You're the best. Okay, perfect. Those are all of my others. Anyone else have another? Alrighty, it is 7:10. I consider this meeting adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
glad you guys could join us from the hinterlands.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
sorry. Thank you, guys. I'll be back. I'll be here all fall. So I'm ready to go. I got one more brain melter.
Yep.
One more.
All right.
Safe
Last
travels
one.
on your way back. Safe travels down the river.
The safe
Thanks,
travels.
guys.
Yeah.
Safe travels.